Let's do it.
Yo, PC fam, what's going on? It's another episode of Chill with Chill. This is a beautiful Saturday morning for me, afternoon, evening for some of y'all. We international like that.
We
But
are.
one thing I can guarantee you is that we are here, and the season is just days away. It's just days away. NBA basketball is back. We've been having some action-packed preseason games, but before we get to that, let's just get y'all a quick update. Um, on what's going on the other side and the W. Chill, you called it. You said it was going back to New York. It's tied up
Mhm.
2-2. What's your take on this?
Um, I didn't think that Minnesota was going out at home off the strength of them being still the best defensive team in the game. And last night's game, I'm sorry, Friday night, was it Friday? Thursday night's game was evidence of that. No, it was last night. I'm sorry.
Yeah, last night. Yeah.
Last night's game was evidence of that. I think New York scored, 5 points in the last 5 minutes of the game, maybe. Sabrina Ionescu couldn't get a shot. I like how they went to Jacquel, but I knew it was going to be a dogfight. I knew that Stewie wasn't going to be able to give Nafisa what she gave her a couple of nights ago. So Nafisa's too good defensively. She is. And as good as Stewie is, that competitive edge that Fisa has, I thought she did a great job last night, man. She beat her to spots. She made all of her shots tough. If I'm being honest with you, Ox, I think this series would be over if they went to Jacquel more. I do. I love the fact that they went to her in the meat and potatoes of the game like they did. I love that. And I think if they went to her more, because they don't have an answer for that. She was bullying Fisa when Fisa got switched on to her.
Right.
She straight bullied her. And I'm thinking to myself, why don't you get more of that action? Because if you got more of that action, one, you could get Fisa in foul trouble. Two, she would be less aggressive. And I'm pretty confident that this series would be over if they went to her more. I understand how good Sabrina and Stewie are. I mean, they're the catalyst of this team. But I've always felt like Jacquel. I always felt like she was the X factor in this team. I thought they did as good a job as they could on Williams. I still don't like the fact that she still misses Fisa on those switches. I'm still not loving that. But I think this series ends tomorrow night. And not just because the series is over, but I think New York, and I think New York, they end up winning a WNBA championship tomorrow night.
Right. And that'll be their first one, yo. So that'll be great, man. Everybody, y'all check that out. Tomorrow is the final. Regardless
We can't have them losing 7 straight. I think this will be 8 straight.
It'll be. I think it's 7 or 8.
Is it 7 straight if they lose? No, this is over. This ends tomorrow night. No, this ends tomorrow night.
We also talked about how this will also be historical for Minnesota if they win, because this will be their 5th. This will make them the only team to have 5. The Comets, they're done. They're not even a franchise anymore, and they're the only other team that has 4. But I want to point something out though, Chill. Besides, like, if we could just take out Game 2, take out Game 2, this series has been decided by a total of 7 points.
So
7
of the 4, so 3 of the 4 games have been decided by 7 points.
By a total, yeah. Game 1, the Lynx won by 2. Game 3, the Liberty won by 3. And then last night, the Lynx won by 2. Game 2, the Liberty took care of business. They won by 12, or 14. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
So that means that of these 3 games, on average, it's a bucket. So it's a 1-possession game going down to the wire. Every one of 3 of the 4 games, with the exception of what they did in Game 2. Every 3 of the 4 games, it's a bucket. That's going to decide the game. And last night is evidence of that because you see what Minnesota does defensively. I think they do a great job in switching. I think that they make it really hard on these. I think they make it really hard on these women. Ox, if I'm going to lose with Sabrina Ionescu cracking a 29-footer to win the game, what else am I going to do? Okay. She cracked a 29-footer to win the game. She didn't get anywhere in mid-range. She didn't get downhill. She didn't get – if that's what I'm going to live with, if that's how I'm going to lose, I'll live with that right there. Other than that, we can't get anything easy. And they're not getting anything easy. With the exception of Jacquel, with the exception of them going to Jacquel the way that they go to her, everything that even Stewie, everything that she gets is difficult. That's largely due to the fact that she's being covered by arguably the best defensive player in the game. So I'm sure that got a lot to do with it. But I mean, you're in dogfights. It's the WNBA Finals, and these two teams are as evenly matched as I've seen a final.
Right. Carlton points out that it will be 6 times if they lose.
Okay. So six losses in a row, not 7. Okay, my fault.
Okay,
Six losses in a row. Okay.
I also want to point something out too. Well, first I want to say, like I talked to you about, I even texted you about it last night. Jonquel is my early pick for next year's MVP.
You did say that.
I think her game is elevating so much every year. She's getting better and better every year. And I think that the team, I think her coach is starting to realize that. I think she might be the focal point. And this year, the amount of minutes she played this year was crazy. So I can see that. But you know what, Chill? I want to speak on something. And obviously, the WNBA, there's only 12 teams.
Sure.
There's only 12 teams. They're expanding. They will get the Toronto team, and then the Golden State Valkyrie, and then Portland has a team coming. And so I'm sure there's another. I'm sure they're going to announce another team soon. Hopefully it's Houston or Miami, but we'll see.
Can Houston get their team back? That'd be so dope. I said this to you a couple of days ago, and you thought it was funny. That can you imagine if the Lakers wasn't in the NBA? Like the Lakers are gone. The Celtics ain't in the league no more. They just gone. Like what the hell?
Yeah.
The Houston Rockets won the WNBA championship 4 straight years. They didn't win it 4 years over the course of like 20 years. They won it 4 straight years.
That's basically like in 1992, just decided, you know what, the Lakers are done.
Bye.
After what they just did through the whole 80s.
Get them out of here. Get the Lakers. So no more Magic, no more Jabbar. Get them dudes out of here. And people just forget about them. Like people forget how dope that team was. I don't know if y'all know this, but they had Cynthia Cooper, Cheryl Swoops, and Tina Thompson on the crew.
Yes, they did.
They had a bomb squad. They didn't have a good team. They had a bomb squad. They was awesome.
Can Detroit get our team? Yeah, Detroit, the Shock.
They won the championship twice.
Yeah, right. Tulsa was good too, but what I was getting to, Chill, was this. Like I understand that there's less teams, right? But I do think that the WNBA playoffs and championships end up being a little more, just being a little more exciting and a little more evenly matched than the NBA teams because they just go straight 1 through 8. And you know what I'm saying? Instead of this conference and that conference. I'm telling you, Adam Silver, we need a change in the NBA. At least just a trial run. Give us 4 seasons. 4 seasons is just 1 through 16. I think that'd be good for us.
Since we're on the subject of that, Ox, I don't know if you know this. I mean, you probably do know this, but just so you guys know, they're changing the format in the finals to 7 games in the WNBA after the season.
All of them.
Yeah, they changed. They not every series. The NBA Finals. They're changing the format. Okay. Yeah, they're changing the format next year to 7 games, which I love that. I don't I like expansion, Ox, but I don't like expansion to the point where it's going to get watered down. Like, so for example, you just brought up Toronto's getting the team. Golden State is getting the team. Is Portland getting the team too?
Yeah, Portland's getting one. Not this season.
That's what I'm talking about. So if you add 2 more teams. But did you keep it like that for a while?
Right.
And then years down the line, we'll expand later on. It's different. It's different in my estimation with the Supersonics. First of all, they should have never lost their team in the first place. Let's start there. Seattle should have never lost their team in the first place. You could give them their team back. Okay, I've said this to you in the past, Ox. I'm gonna take your house. And I'm gonna move your house across town. And Ox, you can have the house back. If you put furniture in it, you can have the house back. Like, wait a minute, no, we're not doing that. But with that being said, I like the idea of them expanding. I just don't want them to saturate it too much because we got some damn good competition. You've said this to me plenty of times, how this might be the most competitive league in the world. You got 12 teams in the league. You got 12 spots. That means that these are the best. These are the best basketball playing. These are the best basketball players on the planet. Best female basketball players on the planet. There aren't any better than in this league right here.
I think they should probably keep it around 16 when they get there. So it's 12 now. They're about to have 2 more. It'll be 14 next year. And then I believe the Portland team comes the year after that. I'm assuming they're gonna have another team with that, right? You don't just expand one team at a time, right? They're gonna bring.
No, you don't.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure they'll bring another team with Portland. I don't know what city that's going to be,
Right.
but maybe at 16, that's kind of where they stop it and keep it there for a while. I think that would be great for the league, though. And there's a lot of great players coming out of college too. Obviously, we know Juju, Page, we know those type players, Hannah Hidalgo, Madison Booker, we know Flage. All these great players are coming out of coming next year. I know I missed a bunch, but there's too many to name. But yeah, so I'm excited about what the WNBA is doing. I'm excited about the game tomorrow. I think the Liberty will finally get their first championship. But moving on from WNBA, let's talk a little preseason. Chill. First, when is season starts? The 23rd?
Tuesday, 22nd.
22nd. Woo! Woo! It's about that time. About that time.
Let's do it.
Okay. So let's talk a little preseason real quick. Bronny James finally gets a little loose last night.
Yes, he did.
Are people gonna start maybe saying maybe Bronny is ready, or was that just a fluke game? What do you think? What did you see last night, and what's your take on that?
What I saw a kid who this is what he would look like in the Pac-12. If he was still in school, this is the development that I would see if he was playing against Oregon, if he was playing against Arizona, if he was playing against Arizona State. This is the development I would see in school. Because if you see what happened, again, it's the preseason, and he was going up against a lot of second and third string guys last night, which is what he would be doing if he played at USC, if he played for Eric Musselman, who's also a former NBA coach, who would show him the pro game. But the one thing that people talk about with him that bothers me about him not being a basketball player, because he 100% is, he's just not ready to compete at this level consistently because he green. That's why. But I can tell you one thing that's going to happen. That's a fact, Ox. And I really appreciate this about this kid. He's going to show up every day. And the reason why he's going to show up every day is because Dad, I can't disappoint Dad. Dad can't be wrong about me. Dad thinks I have the goods. Forget everybody else. Dad thinks I have the goods. And if Dad thinks that I have the goods, I got to show up every day to show him that I'm serious and that you're not wrong about me. I'm watching him get downhill. I'm watching him knock down shots. He looks like he should be in school playing against guys who are closer to his competition level, which is last night. You know, you got second and you got second year guys. You got rooks that's still trying to make the roster. These are the kind of guys that he should be going up against, as opposed to playing against, every night in and night out, legit pros, because he's not prepared for that yet. Ox, I've always felt like this. I'll give you an example. When I was 19 years old, I was a junior college All-American, right? I was a junior college All-American. I was a top 30 player in the country. I was not ready for Joe Dumars. I wasn't. I was not prepared to go up against him. No, I was not prepared to deal with Latrell Sprewell. I wasn't. No, I just, as good a player as I thought I was not prepared to deal with that level of talent. Not yet. Now, fast forward 2 years later, when I first got to Utah State, I'm looking at John Starks like, I can handle him. I feel like I can handle myself against him 2 years later. But at 19 years old, no, I'm not prepared for him. And I feel like that's where we are with James. James, I think, is going to be a player. The guys that I compare him to, I compare him to guys like Avery Bradley, Pat Beverly, guys like that. Guys who are dirty work guys, tough, hard-nosed guys. So with him doing that, I think he's going to be much better as time goes on. He's clearly not ready yet, clearly. But he looked good last night. He did.
I agree. As far as I really wish he stuck around just to develop a little more. Develop some more in college. I think that's a big thing. I always speak on that. Like as good as a lot of people are at that age when you're 17, 18, 19 years old, you have to be super special to be able to compete with 23, 24, 25-year-olds. Sure. Just because of the physicality alone, the speed alone, athleticism, strength. You got to be special. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. So I'm excited to see what Bronny does.
Now, if I'm being honest with you, since we're being honest, Ox, there are some guys who they just don't need school. Like Bryant didn't need school. He didn't. If he needed school, he probably needed it on a social level. He had just come from Europe 4 years ago and, get acclimated to being around people his age. Because don't forget, When he got drafted to the Lakers, he didn't turn 18 until August. So I'm 17 years old playing on the Lakers Summer League team. 17. So being around people my age, socially, that may, I feel like that could have helped him. But from a basketball standpoint, there are some people who don't need school. I don't think Bryant really needed school from a basketball standpoint. I think KG, if KG would have went to school, it would have screwed him up.
Right.
I don't think he needed school. Zion, I think Zion was making, I'm watching Zion at Duke and I'm thinking to myself, why is this kid in school? He does not need to be in school. James, like guys like that, there's certain guys who don't need school. James, Bronny James, on the other hand, he's a guy who I felt like he could use another year, maybe 2. I understand where his father is in the aspect that, I want to play with my kid. But you have to ask yourself, too, it's not just about his father. How do you feel about this, Bronny? Do you want to play with your father? Do you feel like you're ready? Because I do feel like on some level they did rush him. I do. I feel like on some level they rushed him. He wasn't ready. And now we're here. And now we have to make this thing work. And again, Ox, I don't think on any level that the work won't be put in. If he's not good enough, it's just because he's not talented enough. But I can tell you right now, the work will be put in.
And I understand it's a preseason game.
Yep.
How do you lose by 60?
God damn, Ox.
The Lakers scored 74 to 132.
Yes, they got destroyed. Like you can't lose by 60. Like if you lose by 60 in a preseason game, we already know for a fact the guys that we got on this roster, okay, he ain't going to be here. He's not going to be here. We don't need him. Okay, this guy's not helping us. This guy's not going to help us at all. Even if you got guys under contract. Because to lose by 60, you definitely separate yourself from other people. 100% you do.
Right. Can I get some before season starts, some final predictions or takes on Dalton Connect?
That's another guy that we have not been talking about, which I heard something real interesting, Ox, that a couple of people talked about, the Lakers aren't serious. So I want to ask, and maybe this might get clipped, maybe it might not, I don't know. But I want to ask, with the exception of how many teams in the league have 2 top 10 players on their crew? The Lakers with James and Anthony Davis. I think Devin Booker is arguably a top 10 player, but and I think KD is on the back end of the top 10, maybe. But other than that, Denver doesn't have 2 top 10 players. Milwaukee doesn't have 2 top 10 players. Boston doesn't have 2 top 10 players. Oklahoma City doesn't have 2 top 10 players. Philly doesn't have 2 top 10 players. I mean, I can go down the line. So the Lakers have 2 top 10 players in the league on their team. So we'll start there. So if last season, and I know that you hate this, Ox, because the Laker cartel, but what I'm doing is, since we're being honest, if you look at what the landscape of the league was last year, let's take Denver off the table because I feel like that's their kryptonite. If you look at the landscape of the league last year, how do I feel last season going into the playoffs? Lakers going up against Oklahoma City, who's got SGA, who's a star at that point. I got a second-year guy in Jalen Williams, and I got a rook. In Chet Holmgren, Lou Dort, Josh Giddey. How do I like my chances with James, Austin Reeves, Anthony Davis, D'Angelo Russell, and Rui? How do I like my chances? I do. I like my chances a lot going up against that crew. How do I like my chances going up against this Minnesota team who's got the best defense in the league? And I won't argue that, Ox. They got the best defense in the league. But offensively, they're below average. So if they're below average.
I don't like them against Minnesota, too.
Okay, you might not love them against Minnesota. Sure. How do you feel about them against Dallas with a front line of Daniel Gafford and a rook in Derek Lively and Derek Jones going up against James, not just James, but Anthony Davis, Rui, D'Angelo Russell, and Austin Reeves?
Well, chill. A lot of people don't understand that it's a lot matchup based, and just because Dallas beat Minnesota and I said I don't like them against Minnesota, doesn't mean the same thing against Dallas.
Sure.
With that being said, I do think Dallas beats the Lakers last year in the playoffs.
Right.
I think those are the three teams. I think it's Denver, Dallas, and Minnesota. Are the three teams that I'm very, very confident.
So you're confident about them, but it doesn't sound to me, Ox, like you're confident with the Clippers.
No, nobody else. Nobody else.
It doesn't sound to me like you're confident about let's see, New Orleans. It doesn't sound to me like you're confident in not just the Clippers, but Phoenix, New Orleans, Sacramento. And you're a Sacramento guy.
Well, we technically didn't make the playoffs.
Right.
If we make the playoffs and Malik comes back on those playoffs, I think we beat the Lakers.
Right. But, okay. When I'm thinking about what I heard when these guys aren't serious, that was more of a matchup thing than anything. More than because the Denver Nuggets, I feel like every team, since I've been watching basketball, every team has a team that has their number. Every last one of them, including the Chicago Bulls. Including the Chicago Bulls. Every team, the Lakers, nobody talks about this nearly as much as they should. But when the three-peat Lakers, they had a hell of a time with Utah, Ox. They could not deal with Stockton and Malone. They had a really difficult time with them. They had their number. Even when Kobe and Shaq were younger, they still had their number. And that season that they won the NBA championship, they still did well against them. They did well against the Lakers. So I feel like every team has their number. To tell me that I got 2 top 10 players on my team, I got the SEC Player of the Year on my crew, who led the SEC in scoring, who's going to give me legit minutes, and he's going to give me legit minutes, and he's going to be a big time punch off the bench. With him, why aren't we? Because I drafted the best player on the team. I drafted his son. You're telling me that we're not serious? Yes, they are.
It was the 100%. It was the 55th pick.
It was the 55th pick. Yes, they are serious. They just ran into a buzzsaw, which is the Denver Nuggets. Ox, you and I disagree. I like their chances against Dallas. Okay. I like their chances against. Am I saying that they beat Minnesota? I'm not saying that, but I tell you what. Considering what Minnesota's offense is and what the Lakers' offense is, and they might not be that good defensively, but I think they had a top 5 offense in the second half of the year, and they did the same thing the year before that, flipped that around. They ended up being the best defensive team in the league. So if I'm watching this team, and I'm thinking to myself, this team is not that good offensively. They got a damn good defense. We got an elite offense. We're not that good defensively, but they're not that good offensively. So that kind of cancels itself out. With that being said, how are we gonna supplement that? We can score because on paper, not just on paper, we've been a top 5 offense. I like our chances against them. Can we beat them? Let's find out. Let's find out.
Vanderbilt being healthy changes things too.
Yes, it does. Now, Denver, on the other hand, Ox, they are the boogeyman. How you feel about New Orleans? That's how I feel about them. I'm like, I don't want nothing to do with them. How I feel about Patrick Mahomes. Like we played the Chiefs this week.
Oh yeah, I got him today. Right,
to be honest with you, I'm not gonna watch the game, Ox. I'm not. I ain't watching that shit.
The game, Chill?
I ain't watching that shit. No, I'm not watching that shit. No, I'm not.
Because I already know
what's going to happen.
You got to watch the game.
Ox, they own us.
Chill, please tell me you're not one of them type of fans, Chill. You like?
I'm not.
That's how my mom does with the Yankees.
I'm not.
Please
I'm not one of them. I'm not one of those type of fans. But I know who Patrick Mahomes is. He's the boogeyman. That's who he is. And whenever I see Patrick Mahomes, I see Michael Myers. That's who I see. When I see Patrick Mahomes, I see Freddy Krueger. I see Jason. That's who I see when I see him. And I'm like, damn, I don't want nothing to do with that dude. Now, the rest of you dudes, bring it.
Right.
The rest of you dudes, bring it. But when I see him, it's like, nope, not him.
Oh, man.
I don't want nothing to do with him.
I used to hate that shit. Me and my mom, we watching Yankees game. It might be the bottom of the third, and the Yankees might not be looking too well. She'll get mad. I'm not watching this. Turn the game off. We turn it back, bottom of the 8th. Yankees up 7-3. I'm like, God, we missed it all.
What you doing, Mom? No, I'm not that kind of fan. No.
Okay.
I'm not that kind of fan. I'll watch. I'll watch. That's just hyperbole. I'm just being funny. I'm gonna watch the game, but I know what's gonna happen. I do.
Right.
I know what's gonna happen. So I don't want nothing to do with Patrick Mahomes. But to say that the Lakers aren't serious. I just think that that's untrue. When you have 2 top 10 players on your team, you were just in the Western Conference Championship less than 24 months ago. You were in the Western Conference Championship, and you clearly are serious. You just run into a buzzsaw, which is the Denver Nuggets. there's no way that you're not serious about what y'all doing. And on top of that, the crew that you got coming back, you've made some the adjustments that these people are talking about. Well, they need to they didn't add this, they didn't add that. What else do you need to add, Ox? You got 2 top 10 players on your team. What else you need?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with what you're saying. I even, I was opposing the Darvin Ham hatred last year.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? They went to the Western Conference Finals, and I don't think it's his fault they got beat down like they did by the Nuggets. I think Darvin Ham was scapegoated. People, he has his hands in his pockets, so you can't be a good coach because you're standing with your hands in your pockets,
Right.
But that's whatever. That's neither here nor there. All I'm saying is that as much stuff as I talk about the Lakers, I think they're serious. I think they're a team. I think they're a team that needs to be taken seriously, and I think they're a force to be reckoned with as long as they get a good matchup. I don't think that they have champions. I don't think they're a championship level team. No matter how good LeBron James stays, and no matter how good Anthony Davis's defense is, I don't think they're a championship team. And a lot of that has to do with their starting point guard. It's D'Angelo Russell. And if Vanderbilt is healthy this year, I think they'll be okay. And I'm excited about Dalton Connect. I'm very excited about Dalton Connect. I think he's going to be a hell of a player.
Me too.
So this season I'm just excited all the way around about this season. I can't wait for this.
Can we get to it already? Let's go, man. Let's go.
Let's
get to it
now. And then Tuesday is right around the corner. It's right around the corner. So
3 days away.
I'm definitely excited. Another thing that happened in the preseason was the kid Donovan Clingan last night with 20 boards, 14 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 blocks, and 20 boards. What do we think about the kid? Because actually in the group chat, the PC Telegram group chat, Ron sent through that and said bye DeAndre and bye Robert. Do you think Donovan Clingan will get those two traded?
Can we chill out on by DeAndre, and because like we've seen this movie already, Ox.
Right.
Well, chill. What you talking about? We've seen this movie. Okay, we've seen guys up in Portland get busy and then crack like eggs. Not only that, we've also seen this movie in Utah where I got people telling me that the big kid in Utah, he's Rudy Gobert all over again. But y'all don't know what y'all doing with him. You have no idea what you're doing with him. So I'm not sure what Chauncey Billups is doing with Clingan. I don't know. And again, it was the preseason, so he's going up against second and third options. Guys dudes from Kent State, right? Guys from Wright State. Okay, so I'm gonna look different. However, this may be your starting 5-man of the future. He's always been right. He's always been a legit rim protector. He was that in college. That translates to the pros. He was a glass cleaner in college. That translates to the pros. So that stuff is, which is what the Trailblazers need. That stuff absolutely helps. He's still green. He's still greener than the light, right? He's still green, and there's things that he has to understand. His ability to screen, which is huge in today's game. Not only his ability to screen, his ability to dive when he screens, how he pops, how he runs the floor. Does he run the floor when he runs the floor rim to rim? Does he run the floor rim to rim? Does he stop at the free throw line? How hard does he run? These are things that young guys don't understand yet. And I think over time we're gonna find out if he's gonna get this. But last night I did like what I see. Ox, you know how I feel about the big guy. And when I see a big man like this, cleaning glass like that, 14 points, 20 rebounds in 24 minutes, that tells me that he was active more than anything. Four blocks, right? That tells me he was active. Now I've seen empty rebound games. I've seen Hassan Whiteside grab 20 rebounds, and it was an empty game. And I know that sounds ridiculous that I'm watching this dude grab 20 rebounds, which come to him, by the way. It's not like he's fishing for rebounds. They come to him. But that wasn't empty last night. No, I watched some of it, and he was active. He stuck his nose in there. He went after the basketball. He got dirty, which is what I'm looking for in a big guy. Like we get wrapped up a lot of times in today's game in big guys getting pushed away from the basket and the pretty stuff and shooting the long ball and playing at the free throw line. Ox, what happened to the big man that did big man stuff? What happened to what happened to the big guy that was mean, that did big man stuff, that played around the rim, that pushed people around a little bit? And Klingon looks like he's pushing people around and he's getting active. I like that about him. I do.
Yeah. Chill. I don't want to slow the show down, but I just have to say. In matter of fact, somebody in the chat just brought it up. I have to say it, Chill. I can't get with the empty rebound stuff. Like I just can't do it. I respect rebounding too much. As you know, I think rebounding is the most important part of the basketball game.
Yes, sir.
And I just can't get behind the notion of empty rebounds. If the ball comes to me and I go grab the ball, that's a good rebound. You know, that's just the way I look at basketball. Everybody doesn't. I just want to just go ahead and just say that, you know.
Yeah.
All rebounds matter. You know, I am just a big rebound guye.
I am too.
There's nothing on the basketball court that I value more than rebounding.
Maybe when I watch Hassan Whiteside, maybe he isn't active enough. So it's kind of like when you watch a guy scoring and a guy gets 25 and that 25 look empty and it looked different than the other guy. It was a hard 25. So when I'm watching Hassan Whiteside, when he's grabbing 14 rebounds and 10 of those 14 rebounds, he wasn't really as active as he could have been, and they just came right to him. And I'm thinking to myself, big fella, you could rebound. You could be a much better rebounder than you are. A much better rebounder than you are. And because of that, because you're not, I feel like a lot of that stuff you do can be perceived as empty. And I've seen it. I've seen it with him when I'm watching him rebound, and I'm like, okay, that was your rebound, sure, because he came to you. But now you rebounding in traffic, and you don't rebound nearly as well as you do when nobody's around.
Right.
That's what I mean when I talk about empty rebounds.
Right. And I understand Hassan notion, because as you know, like I spent the whole 2 summers playing against Hassan Whiteside, and I was just not impressed. You know, he wasn't at that point. He wasn't big on fighting for the ball. He would let you move him out the way.
Yep.
And I was just, ever since then, even after he left and went to Miami and started having some of those big games, I was just, I just can't buy it, because I've been down on the block with Hassan enough times, and at the time I was like, man, maybe he's just a baby. I thought maybe he got drafted early or something. And now he's older than me. I'm like, nah, bro, this is terrible. This is bad. I was really upset with that draft pick when we picked the song.
Yep.
But moving on though. Man, I'm just so excited, chill. I'm trying to stay focused. I can't wait for this.
It's okay, Ox. Your blood pressure can get up. It's basketball season, brother. It's here now. Basketball season is here.
I want to talk about Kawhi and Lonzo, but you know what, chill? Just out of excitement. Let me bring my man Leaf Diggy up to the stage real quick and see what he got. He seemed like he backstage. He's itching to get something out. Let's see what Leaf Diggy talking about. What's up with Leaf Diggy?
Yo, what's good? Y'all get me?
Y'all
get me?
Yep.
Yeah.
First thing about the WNBA Finals, Chilltown was 100% on. It's like he read my mind. Jacquel Jones should have been the X factor from the giddy up in the series. I'm seeing and you absolutely 100% right. When the Nafisa gets switched on her, and we all know Nafisa is a great defender, but come on, man, that shit is kibbles and bits, man. At least that's what it's supposed to be, and it's supposed to be a sweep. So I'm really down to my last New York team that I'm believing in, bro. Like realistically, Brooklyn, the Nets play in Brooklyn, so they don't count. So realistically,
I'll tell you what though, Leaf, before you go any further, if my Mets, if we win tomorrow night, we win in Game 7. That's all I gotta say. If the Dodgers if they don't get rid of us tomorrow night, we win in Game 7. That's all I gotta say.
I might have to co-sign that incentive. However, the Mets wear blue and orange, so I don't fuck with them. But realistically, about that series, man, this series is supposed to be a sweep. Like if you go back to Game 1 and you see how that meltdown took place, like from the start of this series, the Liberty had most of the advantages. I mean, Laney Hamilton has been getting very, very good mismatches. She's been getting in a good shooting rhythm. That shit almost looked like Joe Dumars when he seen Portland. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like she got in a great shooting rhythm. What was it? Sabrina. She's been playing good in spurts. One half she's good, and what was it? Game 2, and then she cooled down and she played great defense on Courtney. She had cut off that crossover and took a mean ass elbow to the chin and still was running all over the screen and was able to hustle. Phoebus was able to get that 3 in close game too. But
Well,
realistically,
when you run into better defensive teams, I mean, as good as Connecticut was defensively, as good as they were,
right?
I mean, not Connecticut. I'm sorry. As good
Minnesota.
as no Vegas. As
Vegas,
good as
okay.
as good as Vegas was defensively, I always thought that Minnesota was better. I told Ox this. I told Big Ox this. What? How long we was doing this all season last year?
I
We was doing
agree
this
with you.
all season. I was like,
Minnesota,
they don't want nothing to do with them. They don't.
Yeah, Minnesota was the best defensive team all year. Connecticut just had more defensive talent. That's what I was saying.
The point I was making was when you run into better defensive teams, okay, the quality of shots is going to be different. You're not going to get the same shots that you got against Vegas that you get against Minnesota. They're really good at jumping. They're really good at getting around screens. They're really good at switching. So Sabrina, when you're pushing her 28 feet away from the basket, if she's got to shoot that far, I'll live with that. I'm good.
Oh yeah, listen, hey, listen. I get what you're saying, but listen, when a sniper hits you from far out, you a target, Jack. Like it is what it is, and it just so happened to be in a finals game, you know, on the biggest stage in the league. You know what I'm saying? So like, if you hitting it from that far out, I mean, is she not still the best shooter in the league? I mean, come on, everybody sees CC, bro. Like, but did she not go up against Steph Curry in the 3-point shooting contest? Did we forget that? You know what I'm saying?
And had me thinking, hey, Steph, you
and had us thinking that she was gonna win. You know what I'm saying?
Leaf. Literally, that's literally what happened. People
that's literally what happened.
People start talking about Caitlin Clark and forgot Sabrina's still a better shooter than her.
Exactly.
Which is no knock to Caitlin, because Sabrina is a hell of a shooter, and she's been a hell of a shooter since she was at Oregon.
That's what it is. That exactly what it is. Now, it's a lot of Liberty fans that's starting to really, really curl and have a problem with Stewie for some reason. I don't know why. I think Stewie.
Liberty fans have a problem with Stewie?
Listen, I'm gonna be real cautious when I say this, because I'm around New York fans all day. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Unpopular Opinion Sports and everybody over there. They do a whole bunch of New York sports, Mets, Yankees, all of that. But the thing is like they not seeing Stewie assert herself down the stretch of games. They seeing Sabrina do it. But like people not seeing Stewie do it, bro. Like Bobby,
because she can't, Leaf. I'm watching her against Fisa. Fisa got her boxed up. Yes, she does. Everything is difficult. It's not like she ain't trying to go at Fisa, because she is trying to go at Fisa.
Right.
Fisa got her boxed up. She does.
And I think can't shouldn't be in nobody vocabulary, but because I thought Stewie played great defense in game 2. She had 7 steals. She was doing the other stuff, but I think you might be right about Nafisa. That's a tough matchup. It's the defensive player of the year. Nafisa, she's tall as hell, man. Like, I mean, I could see exactly why she's the defensive player of the year. You know what I'm saying? Like, she always gets her hands.
She was that big, Ox. I did not know.
I didn't know she was that tall, neither, bro. Like,
I didn't know she was that big.
Nafisa is about a good 6'3".
Yeah, but she at the same time though, Nafisa's kind of like undersized though. For how she plays, she's like 6'2.5". She you know, and she matches up against a lot.
She got to be like at least 6'3", bro. Like
I thought she was like 6'1". That's what I thought she was. I thought she was like 6 foot 6'1".
Yeah,
I didn't know she was that big.
She like 6'2", I think. But I mean, you gotta remember, she matches up with Stewie, matches up with Asia, matches up with a lot of girls that are a little bigger than her.
Yeah,
she reminds me of like how NECA woman can. Because NECA's like 6'1.5". You know,
that's a good comparison.
She played bigger. But she played
That's a good comparison. That's a good comparison. But to get to the NBA, and this is the part disclaimer where I sully up the podcast a bit. Chilltown, do you remember a team that had 2 top 10 players that was this mid?
That was this mid?
Yeah.
Who are you talking about?
I don't think that those 2 guys are mid. I don't.
No. I'm talking about the team. I'm talking like.
Are you talking about? No. If you got 2 top 10 players on your team, more times than not. You should be there, right? That's why I'm not listening to the logic of you need this, you need that, you need this, you need that. I ain't trying to hear that. That's going in one hand out the other.
But the only I'm going somewhere with this. Here's my thing. We watched Dallas go out. We said they needed shooters. They went out and got shooting. We watched OKC get out. They upgraded their team. We watched Sacramento go out and go get DeMar DeRozan. We watched a whole bunch of teams basically upgrading. You talked about how the West is. These are your words. You talked about how tough the West is going to be this year, man. Like, what is it that the Lakers are going to change this year, in your opinion? Like, what is it that they're going to change this year still having 2 top 10 players.
Avoid Denver. That's it. Avoid Denver.
It's just that cut and dry.
Avoid Denver. That's it.
So
Avoid
okay,
Denver.
all right. So you got them beating Minnesota.
I like their chances against anybody else. Avoid Denver. That's their Achilles heel.
Bobby, what you thinking of this? Because I'm on. I am way over the fence about. It's just so many teams in the West that has really kind of like, basically jumped over, basically leaped over them in short order. You know what I'm saying? We watched OKC go from a 10th seed to a 1 seed. We watched Minnesota go from a play-in to the whatchamacallit.
And why did they do that? And so Minnesota did that. Sure, Oklahoma City did that. They 100% did that. None of those guys have 2 top 10 players on their team. Minnesota, their mantra is their defense. Their offense has been average at best.
Right.
The offense has been average at best. If I'm coming into a series with LeBron James still playing the way he's playing today, and arguably the best defensive player in the game in Anthony Davis, and I'm going against SGA, I'm going against a 3rd-year Jalen Williams and a 2nd-year Chet and Lou Dort, I like my chances. I ain't saying I like my chances.
Okay, same logic. You got me.
The same logic with the Dallas Mavericks. I look at what Luka does, and I'm not sure that Luka completely dominates what James does. I think that when I watch James, he does a lot of what Luka does. I think the difference in that series is those guys on the Lakers, D'Angelo Russell, not just D'Angelo Russell, but Austin Reeves, and their rotation, they got to come up big, because there's no way you selling me that a 2nd-year Derek Lively is dominating Anthony Davis. I'm not trying to hear that.
No. I'm not selling you that at all, ever. Like, I'm not even getting close to selling you that. My thing is that the others. The others on these other teams are better than a lot of the others on the Lakers teams. Like, when you look at their role players and you look at their role talent, like outside of AD and LeBron, like when you look at D'Lo, Rui, and all them, like I seen them get walked down, and be it although it was by Denver, I seen them get walked down by a lazy Denver team. That Denver team last year was lazy.
No, they weren't.
They wasn't.
They're just better than the Lakers. You could call them.
That's all.
They just better. I know we got to move. We got to keep it moving, Leaf. We got a couple of topics we still got to touch on. Appreciate you, fam.
All right, Leaf.
Like Diego says, who's stopping Shea? Enough with the who's stopping Shea. Okay, players in the playoffs. When you was growing up, you didn't think that the San Antonio Spurs was stopping Shaq. So what did Tim Duncan have to do? I'm gonna try to slow him down, and I'm gonna cancel out his production. It can't be Shaq goes 35, 13, and 2 blocks, and Tim Duncan goes 14. No, I got to cancel out his production. So the idea of stopping Shea. Ain't nobody stopping him, but let's see if we can slow him down and cancel out his production with what we're doing. And that's the idea.
And that's the thing. There's some guys that can't be stopped. Bron can't. Bron, especially Prime Bron can't be stopped. Shaq can't be stopped. Kobe can't be stopped. Jordan can't be stopped. There's guys you can't stop. But like you said, though, KD couldn't be stopped. But you seen what the Celtics did? They roughed him up and they made it real difficult on him. That's what you got to do. Right. SGA is not in that category.
Not yet.
Okay, I'm gonna say it again for the people in the back. SGA is not in that you can't stop me category. It's simple. As simple as that.
Not yet.
He's a hell of a player. Don't get me wrong. He's a hell of a player. I really like what OKC is doing. I actually think that they leapt over where I thought they would be now by making those moves during the offseason. So that's cool. Like, but still Shea is definitely slow downable. You know what I mean? Like, Shea's not, Shea is a great player, a hell of a player. But we're not looking at Kobe Bryant. You know what I'm saying?
No, we're not. Let's chill out with that.
We're still looking at SGA, hell of a player, though. Hell of a player. Don't think I'm discrediting or knocking Shea. That's not what I'm trying to do, y'all. I just want to keep it real. And also, Chill, what I said previously, I was talking about last year's team. Those are the teams like I'm talking about last season, the Lakers. I think they probably can't beat Dallas, Minnesota, and Denver. This year, though, Chill, I think a lot of these teams in the West, or a couple of these teams in the West, got better. I don't think the Lakers can beat OKC this year. I don't think they could beat us this year. J-Val is gone from the Pelicans, so I'm not as afraid of them as I was.
Mhm.
But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
All right.
But I want to get to the return of Lonzo Ball, and Kawhi Leonard. Two guys with some serious knee issues. Kawhi's been playing these past couple seasons, just not in the playoffs, as we know. And it's been almost 3 years for Lonzo. So, well, I mean, I'm excited for Lonzo, and I'm really, really upset about the Kawhi thing. Where do you want to start? You want to start with Lonzo or Kawhi, Chill?
Ox, when you're away for a long time, when you come back, people expect it to be exactly how it was when you come back, the way it was when you left. So, one, I didn't realize how big a deal this Lonzo thing was. Right, I really didn't, Ox. And if you think about what he was for the Chicago Bulls team before the knee injury, they were a top 5 seed in the East. They were on their way to doing something special, and that team was predicated around what Lonzo does. Lonzo's shot got better. He was their best defensive. He was their best perimeter defender, point of attack defender, can distribute, which was going to help DeMar DeRozan, who was great off the basketball, Zach LaVine, who's fantastic in transition. When you got a 6'6" lead guard that can defend like that, can not only defend like that, can knock down open shots and can get downhill. When you have that, you on your way to doing something with both Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan on the edges. He breaks down. Well, everything that we're doing has to change now. Now DeMar DeRozan has to be more of a ball handler. Now Zach LaVine has to be more of a ball handler. Now DeMar DeRozan has to defend more. Now Zach LaVine has to defend more. That wasn't the plan, Ox. The plan was this guy was going to be our point of attack defender. He was going to be our distributor. He was going to be our playmaker. When you take him out, now what that does is that when you take him out, that lessens DeMar DeRozan, that lessens Zach LaVine, that lessens Vooch, that lessens all their skill sets. Why? Because I got to do more of the stuff that I'm not good at. And if I got to do more of the stuff that I'm not good at, you're not going to be able to see the stuff that I'm good at. That's why Lonzo was there, because you can see more of that stuff, right? So now Lonzo's gone for 2 years. We saw this team go the other way. Now Lonzo is back. The question that I have, because I saw he's going to be on a minute restriction, and I did see he played a little bit. My question, Ox, with any of this, right? My question with any of this, and it's always been this way, can he still play? Because it's one thing to throw a guy out there for 15 minutes in a preseason game. Does that hold a lot of weight with me? It doesn't. You know what holds a lot of weight with me? In January, when they're playing against the Milwaukee Bucks and they're mismatch hunting and they're going after him, when they're playing against the Knicks and they're consistently getting him in action where they're going after him. That's what I care about. I care about when we get into the middle of December when they're playing against the Miami Heat and they're going after him, where they're trying to get him in switches. Can this dude still play? I ain't even talking about him playing at the level where he was playing when he was 15-6 and arguably an all-league defensive guard. I ain't even talking about that. I'm talking about, can you play? Period. Can he play? Can he play more than 10 minutes? Can he play more than 15 minutes? Can he play more than 20 minutes? That's what I care about right now. And until I see that, that's where I'm at with him.
Right, and that's all I've been saying. Like I'm high on Lonzo. I've always liked Lonzo. But what happened is serious for Lonzo. You know what I mean? He had 3 knee surgeries. And even the surgery he had is not experimental, but it hasn't always worked out well for the people that have had it. You know what I mean? So when you get cartilage replacement from a cadaver knee, you know what I mean? That's like I said, it's not experimental, but it doesn't usually work out well for athletes. Right. So I just want to see him get to Thanksgiving, Christmas, and be healthy. Play 10, 15 minutes and not have a whole bunch of inflammation he's dealing with and stuff like that, having to miss games. So I hope he can keep it up. But I'm gonna be on the lookout for that. A question here from Capo. He says, Chillin' Ox, I think a healthy Lonzo is the last championship piece my Wolves need. Am I crazy? Perfect Conley replacement.
That's what I'm talking about, Ox. Man, when I just said that, when somebody's gone, when they come back, you expect them to be what you saw previous. So this guy, Capo, he's expecting Lonzo pre-knee injury. That's what he's expecting. And that's not who he is. In fact, not only is that not who he is, we don't know who he is. We don't know how fast he can run. We don't know how long he can compete. If you're talking about winning the NBA championship, the level that you have to compete at on defense, especially on that Minnesota team, has to be here. We haven't seen Lonzo play in 2.5 years. So you're telling me that a guy who we haven't seen play 2.5 years, you want to throw him on that crew and expect him to compete at that level right now? I don't think so. Can I see him get through a game first? Can I see him get through a month first before we throwing him on a championship level team and he's the difference on that crew? Can I see him do that first?
It's extremely naive to just think that a guy can miss three years of basketball and you just be like, well, look, when he got to Chicago, he did this, he did that, so he's at least going to be able to. That's just not how it works. Like your body doesn't respond to what we think it should be. You know what I mean? Like your body just doesn't go back to that. You know what I mean? And it takes time. You got to work. You know, and I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm just saying like this is one of those things I have to see. Now, if Lonzo would have tore meniscus, went and got surgery, been cool, came back 6 months or 4 months later and would have been, cool, I'd be like, yeah, okay, come on, Lonzo, let's get it. But that's not the case. He had to get 3 surgeries. The last one, like I said, was a cadaver replacement for cartilage in his knee.
Ox, I've never heard that on a professional athlete. Never.
So
never heard that on a professional athlete. To get cartilage in my knee replaced. And just so you guys know, from a dead person, I'm putting a dead person's cartilage in my knee. I've never heard that before.
Yeah,
never. And now you want him to, and you think that he's going to get right back to what they were doing, right back to what he was doing when he was playing with the Bulls before this. No.
And with that being said, I don't think his style will change much. And Capo got back in the comments and said that I think his play style is perfect fit next to Ant. I agree. I agree. If Lonzo can be 80% of Lonzo he was 3 years ago, I would love to see him next to Anthony Edwards.
Yes,
I would love
absolutely.
that. So to answer your question, Capo, in your super chat, I don't think you're crazy. I think if Lonzo Ball is anywhere near the Lonzo Ball he was when he left, go get him. Everybody in the league, I don't care if you got a point guard, go get him.
Yeah.
Because Lonzo's serious. He's serious. So that's my take on that. Chill. Yep. I hope Lonzo's there. I mean, he is back. He checked in, hit his first 3 ball.
Sure.
I believe I don't want to misquote him, but I believe he said he's never had a feeling like that or something. I would have to go back and look at the article.
Well, of course, Ox. I ain't played in 2.5 years, right? It's like smelling fresh air for the first time. You've been out of sight for 5 years, and you get outside and you actually smell fresh air. Like, wow, it's great to be back here. Of course, I haven't played. Now, again, once all of this stuff wears off, and we have to get down to the season, and we have to get down to now matchups. We got to get down to schemes, and teams are going to go after him, and they're going to go after him because we got to find out if he can still play. They're not looking at Lonzo like, yo, this is this all-league defensive guard, and we better stay away from him. No, absolutely not. We got to find out if this guy can play. And if he can, then that's different. But we're going to find out, though.
Yeah. But, speaking on that, just what he said, though, man, I know that feeling has to be amazing. You know what I mean? Like, I'm really excited for Lonzo. That's one of those things, Chill, where I'm like, yo, Coach, you might got to sub me out. I got some tears coming. I got to cry real quick.
Let me get it together first, Coach.
Yeah, one of those.
I'll be back.
Man, because that's when you love something like that and it's taken away from you for that long, and then you get back to it. That's just a beautiful thing. So shout out to Lonzo, and I hope you can, because he's only 26, man. I hope you can really get some serious years back. We've seen injuries slow down too many amazing careers, and I just hope Lonzo can not be on that list of guys.
Ox, the word was that his career was over. He was done. That was the word. Right. Like, this guy's never going to play basketball again. The question is can he even walk? That was the question. Is he going to be able to walk? Not only can he walk, okay, we actually saw him, even though it was only for 10, 15 minutes, but to your point, to get out there when 2 years ago, They was questioning if I'll ever put on a professional basketball uniform again. They were questioning that. Now here I am. I'm back in the game, man. Yeah, if you don't get emotional over that, something's wrong with you.
Yeah,
definitely wrong with you.
I see Blazers Pip said Adrian Peterson is the only athlete who has absolutely a beast after a serious knee injury. Do you forget about Amari Stoudemire?
Yeah,
better relax.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but
Blake
moving
Griffin,
on.
just so you know, Blake
Right,
Griffin had microfracture surgery as a rookie. Yes, he
right.
did.
That's right.
Yes, he
Yeah,
did.
but don't forget about Amari. He came back.
Jason
great.
Kidd had microfracture surgery too. So,
And what was that? Kenyon Martin broke his leg, right?
yes,
He
broke his leg in college.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's the Lonzo situation.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's talk about Kawhi.
Mm.
So he's out indefinitely, and if just to be sure, indefinitely means a time not yet determined, right? So Kawhi's out indefinitely because he had to deal with this inflammation in his right knee.
Mm-hmm.
Is it about that time, Chill?
I'm not. I'm not in favor of pushing somebody out the game. I'm not in favor of that. But Ox, you and I have gone over this, man. He told us in 2018 that he had a problem. He told us this, and the San Antonio Spurs told him, "All right, you good. You can get back out there." And he's still telling them something's wrong with my knee, and I need to get it fixed. And I'm not right. No, you good. You're okay. You might have a condition, but you're okay. And he's like, no, I'm not okay. Not only am I not okay, I'm out of here because y'all ain't serious about me. Y'all not. And the Clippers did a great job in managing him. They did. They did a fantastic job in managing him. By the way, with the Clippers managing him, this thing didn't get better. It was still getting worse. They just managed it. That's all it was. It just got worse over time. They just kind of slowed down the process because they didn't play him as much. If you remember him when he played in the playoffs in 2019, as good as he was dealing with a knee injury, and it was bad. But they managed him throughout the rest of the regular season. I think he only played 55 games that year. So they managed him as best they could. Then he gets to the Clippers. They're doing the same thing. Mind you, this problem that he has with his knee, it's not going away. In fact, not only is it not going away, it's getting worse. So then in 21, when he tears up his knee in the playoffs, same knee that he told you this was a problem 3 years ago, he tears up his knee. He sits out the entire season in 22. 23, the Clippers manage him. Still getting worse, Ox. They manage him. They bring him along slowly. In the process of them bringing him along slowly, he's getting better. He's getting better. Then we get to the point where the playoffs, where he looks like he's the best player in the playoffs. But what happens? He breaks down again. Why? Because I don't have an injury. I don't. I have a condition. See, Ox, if I broke my ankle or I broke my finger, my bone's gonna heal. That's an injury. If I got arthritis in my hand, that's a condition, and that's gonna get worse over time. And that's what was going on with Leonard. But the fact that he at that time in 23 in the playoffs, Ox, was it 23? Yeah, it was 23 in the playoffs. Ox, he's 31 years old. He's so damn good, man. It can't be over. Nah, we'll figure it out. We'll manage him, right? It's not over yet. No, we'll lessen his games, even though we did that already. He missed the whole season. He only played 55 games. And then it got compounded last year because he played 68 games and he looked like an all-pro. In fact, he made the all-pro team. So he's not over. He's still got it. But then what happens? He breaks down again. This thing is not getting better. It's getting worse. I said, I think almost 2 years ago, I was like, I think that within 2 years, he's going to be out of the game because physically he won't be able to hold up. Ox, this inflammation, this isn't inflammation that you could just treat. No, he's had, I think, 3 knee surgeries on his knee. The cartilage is gone. So now it's bone on bone. That's where the inflammation is coming from. And old people have that where they end up walking with a cane. And how do you treat that? Yo, sit your ass down. That's how you treat that. Park your ass because it's not going to get better. And this is something.
That's not the inflammation you could just put a bag of ice on.
No, this is not that. No, his knee is degenerating and it's continuously getting worse over time. So because of that, this is where we are with him. And it sucks because, again, you just saw him last season. He made the All-Pro team. You saw him in the playoffs, even if it was only for a small sample size. I know it, Ox. You saw him for a small sample size in the playoffs, and you're like, it can't be over. It's not. This dude is still too good for this thing to be over. Only except what you're used to seeing. It's just he's slowing down. He is. He's going to be one of the biggest what ifs. He's going to be one of the biggest what ifs that we've seen in this sport. What if he could have stayed healthy? I said this to you before when I talked about why I can't talk about Joel Embiid like I talk about Shaq, like I talk about Olajuwon, like I talk about Russell or Jabbar. Like we don't talk about Kawhi Leonard. I don't talk about Kawhi Leonard like I talk about Doc or Scottie Pippen or KD or James or Bird. I don't talk about him like that. And the reason why I don't talk about him like that is the main reason is because he couldn't hold up. For that reason right there is because it had nothing to do with his game. It was because he couldn't hold up. If he could have held up, we could have a way different conversation about him. But we can't.
I mean, my thing with that is I definitely don't talk about him with like Grant Hill and Penny and them though. Like I seen enough. I love Kawhi like I love Scotty. I love Kawhi like I love KG. He's that good to me. And it really I hate to see him going through this. And it's just terrible. It's terrible. I really hate to see this happening in real time. I wish there was something that could be done about it, but I mean, I think he gave what he could, and he's still giving what he can. I hate the notion, the idea of people saying, "Oh, he just doesn't want to play. He's just load managing." Like,
that makes me nuts, man.
Like, I don't get that. That's like if you really a hooper and you really love ball, you're gonna want to play. There might be times where, now, don't get me wrong, in an 82 game season, I'm sure a lot of guys get a game where they're like, you know what, coach, y'all don't got it today. You know what I'm saying? Like I gotta chill. You know, but for the most part, these guys want to play basketball. You know what I mean? So like just the idea that Kawhi is just walking around San Antonio like, no, I'm hurt. No, I'm not playing. You know, when he's perfectly healthy. You know what I'm saying? Then the idea that he's coming to LA and he's just like, no, I'd rather just hang out. I don't want to play basketball. Like, that's just dumb. And anybody that thinks that, it's just that's just
I'm willing to bet.
Looking for a reason to hate on Kawhi Leonard is just ridiculous.
Ox, I'm willing to bet there have been times with him during his Clipper run where he's gotten out of bed like, I don't even know if I can play basketball today. I don't even know if I can walk today. Forget running up and down the floor. And there's no way that you have a guy that's that good, that's that competitive. We've seen him go up against James. We've seen him go up against Giannis. We've seen him go up against Curry. This is not fluff. This is not a dude that's like, fine, I'll go play. No, this is not that dude. This is a dude who wants to be out there. So if he didn't want to be out there, why would he not? If he didn't want to be out there, he wouldn't go. But he clearly wants to play. You saw that last year. I think he did everything he could possibly do to get on the floor last year. It's just his body wouldn't hold up. That was it. It's just that his body wouldn't hold up. And I feel like that's where we are with him now. And I feel like we're closer to the end with him than we are. I feel like we're closer to the end with him than we're in his prime.
I mean, arthritis in any part of your body is not no joke. But arthritis in your knee is different. It's different. It hurts. I know it hurts really bad, y'all. It hurts really bad. But hey, I hope they work something out. I hope we get to see Kawhi on the court as much as possible. I'm hoping we can get 55 plus games from Kawhi Leonard this year. And
if you think about it, Ox, I mean, it's clear that it's serious. You know, the Olympic Committee called up the Clippers, like, yo, come get your man. Yeah, you got to come get your man. And not because he sucked. No, that's not why you got to come get him. You got to come get him because he can't do it. He can't run. The whole practice, he's sitting over there with ice on his knees. We're trying to get work done. He can't run. So you might have to come get your man. And not only are the Olympic Committee, the head coach of the Clippers is over there going, yo, come get him. Because this is not going to work. This is not going to work.
This whole segment here, this is too emotional for me. I can't handle this, man. I'm happy Lonzo's back. I'm distraught because Kawhi might be on his way out. This is really sad.
Well, it's not that, and I think a lot of people, when they hear this, they think that it's slander on Leonard. No, he's not. I've never been an advocate of a guy who I've never been an advocate of people talking about people who just don't want to play. And this dude just doesn't want to play. Well, why is he playing these many games? Or it's a contract year. Okay, sure, it was a contract year, but you don't think he wanted to play the year before that? He 100% wanted to play in 22, 23, right? The year he came back from his knee injury. He 100% wanted to play that year. Yes. You don't think he wants to play this year? They're opening up a new arena. Hell yes, he wants to play. There's no way he's sitting home with millions of dollars like, I'm good. I got it now. No, he definitely wants to play. So the idea that, this is all fluff and he's robbing the system. Kawhi Leonard is one of those guys, Ox, and I'm on record saying this. He's one of those guys that when he retires, we might not never see him again.
Right.
He might disappear in 10 years. You're going to be like, where's Kawhi Leonard at? Does anybody know where this dude is? He might be in Ghana some damn where.
Right. Who knows, man? I know he's into like producing stuff, videos, music and stuff like that. So that's
we might not never see this dude again.
Yeah. Well, shout out to Kawhi. Shout out to Lonzo.
Yep.
I want to ask you about something.
Yep.
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Mm-hmm.
He thinks he might be on the trading block. What do you think about that? Is he just playing around? Is he just playing around, or what do you think?
He ain't playing. He's deflecting. It's you saying the chick that you been with, who loves you to death. She about to replace me. The only way we breaking up is if you break up with me. That's the only way we breaking up. We ain't breaking up because I'm sick of you and I'm replacing you. No, the only way that Giannis Antetokounmpo is getting traded is if he asks out.
Right.
The reason why he signed that extension was because they traded for Damian Lillard to appease him. That's why they got Damian Lillard there, to appease him. So if I'm thinking about guys, the best player on the team, whether it's a playoff team or a contender that's been traded, in recent history, I'm thinking about DeMar DeRozan. That's one of the guys I'm thinking about. But they traded him for a better player in Leonard. Okay, you don't have anything like that on your team in Milwaukee. Nothing like Kawhi Leonard on your team. Then, and not only that, who are they going to trade you for? Dallas ain't giving up Joker for you. I mean, Denver ain't giving up Joker for you. They're not doing that. I mean, it sounds good, but no, they're not doing that. Dallas ain't giving up Luka for you. That doesn't make sense to do that. No. So that's not going to happen. And then when the Lakers traded Shaq after they lost in the championship, they did that to go with the younger guy. You don't have anybody on your crew like that. That's young, like Bryant, that's up and coming. No. In fact, you are that guy. You turned 30 years old in December. So there's nobody on this crew, or there's nobody in with the suits. There's nobody in upper management going, man, if we don't win it this year, we got to start looking in a different direction and move off of Giannis. The only way they're doing that is if you say, you know what, I've given you guys 10 years, I've given you guys 11 years, I've given you one championship, I've done everything that I could possibly do to win here, and it just hasn't worked. I think it's time for me to move on. That's the only way this happens, because NBA teams do not trade in their prime while they're on a playoff team, arguably the best player in the game. NBA teams don't do that. That's just bad for business. That's terrible for business. There's no way that they're going to do that. No, if they trade you, it's going to be because you axed out. There's no other way. Not because, we're going to start over, we're going to rebuild, and we're going to get the number one pick in the draft, or we think that we should. No, we already have the golden ticket right here. Why the hell are we selling it? Hell no, we're not doing that. No way are they doing that.
I mean, I could see Giannis, eventually, saying, you know what, let me go try it out somewhere else. Maybe I could see that. I don't see nothing wrong with that. But what are the Bucks' chances of winning the championship this year? Do they have any chance? Is it low, high? What do you think?
I don't think that they have any chance of winning the NBA championship off the strength of Damian Lillard not competing on the defensive end. That's the same reason why I don't think Dallas can win it, because Joker consistently won't, not Joker, I keep saying Joker, I'm sorry, because Luka won't consistently compete on the defensive end at the lead guard spot. I've seen him get stops. I've seen him beat guys to spot. I've seen him challenge, right? I've seen him be physical. I have not seen him do that consistently. As good as he is offensively, I ain't asking for Drew Holiday. I'm not asking for Alvin Robinson. No, I'm not asking for Sidney Moncrief. What I am asking for is I'm asking for you to compete. I'm asking for competition on that level. And I don't think Damian Lillard can compete at that. I don't think Damian Lillard will compete at that level. And the reason why I don't think he will compete at that level, Ox, is because I don't think he knows how. I've seen guys more times than not, if you don't know how to do something, you'll ask for help. But more times than not, when you get to a point where you just don't know how to do it, you just won't do it. And Damian Lillard, we're at a point where I think we're in year 13 with him, and he's at a point where he is who he is. And it's going to take championship level defense to compete at the championship level in order for them to win. Giannis has already proven that he will compete at that level. Jrue Holiday has already proven that he'll compete at that level. Steph Curry proved, and Steph Curry, by no stretch of the imagination, is an all-league defender. But he will compete on the defensive end. Damian Lillard has yet to show me. He didn't do it in Portland. He didn't do it last year. He has yet to show me that he will compete consistently night in and night out on the defensive end to try to slow guys down or make it tough on guys. Until he does that, the Milwaukee Bucks are not going to win the NBA championship. They're fool's gold.
I can't say I disagree, Chill. I can't say I disagree. I think they're very dangerous, though. I mean, Giannis, I think Giannis this season, I think he's going to be an MVP candidate, which shouldn't be surprising. I think Giannis is going to have a terrorized NBA this year. And I'm sure Dame is motivated. Dame wants a ring. He hasn't gotten one yet. It really hasn't been close. I think this year is his best opportunity. I think this year is Damian Lillard's best opportunity to win a championship, and they got to go for it. So I'm gonna keep an eye out on them. I won't say they have no chance. I think their chances are slight. I think their chances are slight. I think New York has to take care of the Celtics for them.
Yep.
And if New York can take care of the Celtics for them, then maybe so.
As long as you, I can't say that I think Denver has a shot out west because they got the best player on the planet, and then not say that Milwaukee doesn't have a shot when you got arguably the second best player on the planet. No, I can't do that. I mean, you still have arguably the best player in the league on your team. So because you have that, I have to give you a shot off the strength of that. But then we got to start adding in variables. We got to start adding in what kind of perimeter defense do you have? How good are you guys in transition? What kind of rebounding team are you? What does your rotation look like? But it starts at the lead guard spot. And the biggest hole that you have right now is your lead guard does not defend at the level necessary to win. I watched Kyle Lowry do it. I watched Steph Curry do it. I watched Rondo do it. And I ain't even asking you to be as good as Rondo, but I watched these guys compete at that level. Because Ox, you've said to me plenty of times, you could teach me how to rebound. You could teach me footwork. You could teach me how to play defense. At the end of the day, drop your ass, get your feet moving, get your hands busy. That's what I'm asking you to do.
Yeah, no doubt. So I want to finish up with this topic. But before we get to that, let me knock out these super chats real quick. JJ became a YouTube member. Shout out to JJ. Appreciate you,
Jay?
man.
Yes, sir.
One unemployment. What up, man? W Packers, W Jordan Love. Okay.
I think Jordan Love's going to be I think he's going to be an all-pro in the future. I think he's that good.
They got the Texans tomorrow?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Someone random says, anyone in today's game that you can't slow down? I could think of 3 guys.
Is there anybody in today's game that you can't slow down? You can't slow down Joker.
Yeah, I think it's Joker, Luka, and Joel. I think those are the only ones. I don't
think you can slow those guys down.
Yeah, Joker, Luka, and Joel. Those are the 3 guys that you got to just do what you can and hope they miss.
Yep. Well, wait a minute. Let me rephrase that because I want to make sure that I'm understanding you correctly. Is there anybody that you can't slow? Because there's a difference between stopping a guy and slowing a guy down. So what's slowing Joker down? Like when you say slowing Joker down, what's that? Is that like 19, 8, and 7? Because he's not doing that. We can kill that right now. But if I'm getting, I think the game against the Lakers, I think it was a game for. Didn't he go 27 and 20? I mean, it's hard to slow guys. I know that sounds ridiculous, Ox. I know that should sound goofy as hell. But how can I slow down? What can I do to slow down a guy like Joker? right? What can I do to make it hard on him? Okay, I'm going to crowd him in the mid-range. He's going to blow by me. We saw Anthony Davis do that. Okay, I'm going to give him some space at the long ball line. Okay, well, what I'm doing is I'm shooting fish in a barrel doing that because I get to scan the floor, the passer and the playmaker that he is. He can just he can pick guys apart. And on top of giving him space, I can just knock down shots all night long. As long as that shot is going in, I can just knock that down. If I got Luka, how do I slow Luka down? The way to slow Luka down, I can't be physical with him because, or maybe that's probably the only way that I can slow Luka down is I can possibly take him out of the game by being physical with him because he's going to complain to the refs and then keep the ball away from him, which I'm not going to be able to do that because he's the lead guard, right? He's the guy that their offense runs through. So how can I slow him down? Possibly be physical with him, not just be physical with him. When he gets off the ball, keep the ball away from him.
You got to blitz. You got to blitz Luka early.
You always said that to me, Alex. Do your work early. Do your work early because once he gets going, we're in the half court and there's 16 seconds on the shot clock and he's already in it. You're in a lot of trouble at that point. And Joel,
you're at his mercy.
And Joel, I really don't know how you keep the ball away from him at 7'1", at 275, 280. How do you keep the ball away from the big fella?
You don't. I don't know. Joel slows himself down. When he slowed down, it's usually him doing it to himself. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's pretty much it. I don't think anybody can guard Joel Embiid.
Me neither.
I honestly think Joel Embiid, as far as scoring the basketball, should be and could be the most dominant of all of these guys. It's just up to him when he decides to shoot fadeaway, middies, and pull a bunch of threes, which he can knock down. You know, that's in his bag. But it's really up to Joel to slow himself down.
That's when you start calling him a bum, Ox.
Right.
That's when Ox goes into his bum bag like he's a bum.
Right.
He is a bum because I'm sick of him.
To flex our loaners comment in the chat, there was a guy a while back that was an Embiid stopper by the name of Al Horford, but I don't think Al Horford got that anymore.
Not anymore. He doesn't. No.
Yeah, I don't think Al got that anymore. But
and Al Horford's going to be that guy. Al Horford, really quickly, Ox. Al Horford's going to be to Embiid what Big Country was to Shaq. In 15 years, Joel Embiid's going to be like, they're going to ask him, yo, who's your toughest matchup? And he's going to tell you, I had hell with Al Horford.
Right.
I had hell with him. I really couldn't figure him out. Mm-hmm.
So, So NBA Central dropped their top 10 players in the NBA.
They did.
It looks a little different than ESPN's.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Looking at this, do you agree? Which list do you think is more accurate?
Well, the ESPN list. Let's see here. Let's see what we got. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, where's the NBA? Where's that ESPN list? Okay, you got to put up the NBA, the ESPN?
I do have it right here, Ox. Yes. Yep, I got it right here. And let's see here. ESPN's from NBA Central, ESPN's top 10 in the NBA. You got Joker 1, Luka 2, Giannis 3, Shea 4, Jason Tatum 5, Curry 6, James 7, Embiid 8, Kevin Durant 9, and Anthony Edwards 10. So, a couple things. Number one.
You know what, Chill? I'm tripping. I thought that this was a different list because I'm seeing Anthony Edwards, and I thought that was. I'm thinking Anthony Davis when I'm seeing that because I remember they had AD at 13, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I thought this was two different lists. I got this list pulled up. I'm thinking, okay. Mm-hmm. So we kind of talked about this a little bit yesterday, but let's kind of go into it a little bit.
Yep.
If this was the top 10, if we're keeping this top 10 here, who if anybody would be out of this top 10 for you?
Anthony Edwards. Anthony Davis is the top 10 player in the game today. 100%.
So is that the only change you would make? Is Anthony Edwards?
Yes.
Anthony Davis?
Anthony Edwards. And you know how I feel about Donovan Mitchell. I think Donovan Mitchell is a top 10 player. Maybe ahead of Kevin Durant. I think Joel Embiid is too low. I think Joel Embiid is anywhere between 4 and 6. I think he's better than Steph Curry today. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I believe that. Giannis is better than Luka, and I'm putting Giannis. I think Giannis is the second best player in the world.
Mm-hmm.
He's right. He's right behind Joker. And Jason Tatum is ahead of SGA, and I will stand on that. SGA didn't do anything in my estimation to surpass him like that. He didn't.
Ooh,
And
they're not gonna like that shit.
they and it's fine if they don't like it, but I stand on the logic, and my stance on this is still then what it is today. 2 years ago, Jason Tatum and SGA was not a conversation. It wasn't. That was not going on. And Jason Tatum was a first team All Pro 2 years ago. Him and SGA was not a conversation. The next year, Jason Tatum has an actual better year. So if you and me weren't on the same level and I have a better year the next year and you have a great year, that does not make us here. No, it doesn't. And then the next year after that, he shoots a higher field goal percentage. He's really good from the floor. He's really good at the three-point line. Because he doesn't shoot it well in the playoffs, even though they win the NBA championship off the strength of him, and he's a first-team All-Pro again, SGA didn't do anything to surpass him. No, he did not. It's because Jason Tatum plays for the Boston Celtics. If he's doing what he's doing now, and he played for the Sacramento Kings, if he's doing what he did now, and he played for the Portland Trail Blazers, you guys would be talking about him way different. Just like if SGA played for the Boston Celtics. Just like if SGA played for the Knicks. That's why y'all talking about this dude.
Yeah, I agree. I got JT over SGA as well. But like I say though, that top 6-7 guys is so interchangeable, except for Jokic. I think Jokic got that number 1 spot on lock. Other than that, though, I think it's really interchangeable on any given day, any given night. Any one of those players could be better than the other guy. I'm kind of curious about Joel at where is he? 8?
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious about that. Why would Joel Embiid be at 8? I think he was a shoo-in for MVP before he tore his knee up.
So the problem that we have with Joel Embiid, 1, the durability, and then 2, the postseason. What he's done in the postseason kind of screws him up from that aspect and being higher, but not that low. No, not that low. David Robinson didn't get to the Western Conference Championship. He didn't get to the Western Conference Championship until he got Tim Duncan in 1999. He still was a top 5 player throughout the 90s. Before he hurt his back in 1997, he still was a top 5 player. So Joel Embiid, he's still around that area. I'm not. There aren't 7 players in the NBA better than him. No, I can understand the durability. Yes, I can understand the durability, and I can understand the lack of playoff success and what happens in the playoffs. I can definitely dig that. But what I'm not trying to hear, what I'm not trying to hear is I'm not trying to hear him. He looks like he's closer. He looks like he's closer to 10 than he is to 5. I'm like, let's chill out. Okay, we're going a little far. On top of that, this is the same ESPN who I thought this was really interesting. Same ESPN who didn't have KCP in the top 100 last year. He goes from not being in the top 100 last year to being 63 this year after having a worse season, Ox. What did I do to jump 40 spots? I wasn't even in the top 100 last year, right? What did he do to jump 40 spots? And there are not 90, there are not 80 players, there are not 70 players in the league. I'm not even sure that there's 60 players in the league better than Herb Jones. So to have him 97, that's nuts to me. No, that is nuts. There are not 80 players. There are not 70 players better than Herb Jones. No, they're not.
Yeah,
not buying it.
It's crazy. So Chill, I want to get into something because we won't be back until October 26th. Season starts for 4 teams. The season starts on Tuesday on the 22nd. Let's get into this, Chill. So opening night is Celtics versus Knicks first, followed by Minnesota Lakers. I don't know how the Lakers keep pulling this off, but oh man, that Laker media cartel is at work all day, 24/7. So they are campaigning 24/7.
Can you handle it, Ox?
No, I can't. No, I cannot. I don't understand this. But hey, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. So we we won't be back here till October 26th to speak about this. So let's just get into it real quick. What are your predictions for those two games? Let's start with the Knicks versus the Celtics.
It's going to be on ring night. There's going to be a lot of energy in the building. I think the Celtics handle them dudes. I do. I think they get right back to business. I think I get to look at their rotation players. I get to see what kind of attitude Jason Tatum has coming into this season. Is he more prepared this season than he was last year? Is he going to look to shut the doubters up more this season than he did last year? I think that's going to go on. No KP. I think that's going to be a problem, sure. But I think that they have enough to supplement that. I think the Celtics handled the Knicks on opening night. I don't think it's a dogfight. I think they handle them. And Minnesota without KP. And Minnesota and the Lakers, I think the Lakers are going to shock Minnesota on opening night. I do. I think they're going to shock them on opening night. Because all the talk about, what did they do to upgrade their team? Well, we've seen them. They blew the roster up. They reconstructed the roster. Then they didn't do anything to the roster. Then they ended up in the Western Conference Championship. And then last year, they ran into Denver. That's the problem. This year, they're going to show that we don't need all of that other extracurricular stuff. I think they're going to show that on opening night. We have enough to be competitive in the West. We do.
Okay. I know I'm excited to see it. I actually can see, although I said what I said, and I don't feel like they should get the opening night game, I can see the Lakers beating the Timberwolves in this game. I can see it. What I can't see, Chill, is the Celtics beating the Knicks.
Why not? What's the problem? What's the problem?
I just think the Knicks are going to show everybody how serious things are going to be this year. I gotta say, I think the Knicks are about to run through the East. I think the Knicks are about to run through the Eastern Conference. It's going to get ugly. It's going to be a bloodbath. And obviously the Celtics are there, but I think the Knicks got the Celtics this year. I think the Knicks got the Bucks. I think the Knicks got Philly, Cleveland, and everybody else is just, it's breakfast, brunch. I think the Knicks are going to terrorize.
Now remember too, Ox. We saw when the Warriors got KD on opening night, San Antonio comes into their building and stomps them. Straight stomp them. So is it ridiculous to think that the Knicks could come into their building and smoke them? Yes, I think that's ridiculous to think that. Could they beat them? I don't think that's ridiculous. But to handle them, nah.
Yeah,
I just feel like we have a shooting discrepancy, and I think that I don't think that the Knicks can handle that. I think that's where the separator is. Yep.
Yeah, and that's not just on Tuesday night. I'm talking about from October to June. I think the Knicks are running through the NBA.
All right,
we'll see though. We'll see. Hey, Chill. I would love to see the Larry O'Brien in Madison Square Garden.
Oh, if the Knicks were to win the NBA championship, there isn't anything better for the NBA. There isn't anything better for the NBA if the Larry O'Brien trophy, other than the Larry O'Brien trophy being in Madison Square Garden. Oh my goodness. They would love that. And I don't just mean Knicks fans. I'm talking about all over the world. This would be so great for Knicks fans. It'd be so great for the Knicks fans. Other than getting the All-Star game in Sacramento. What's going on, Adam Silver? Why has the All-Star game never been in Sacramento? Can you give me a satisfactory answer on why the All-Star game has never been in Sacramento? Can you please? They've been in Sacramento since 1985. That's almost 40 years, and they've never had the All-Star game there. Everybody else has. Utah has had it twice.
Only us in Memphis, right?
And Memphis just got to the league.
Man,
everybody else has had it. And Utah has had it twice in 30 years. Twice. Meanwhile, the All-Star game has never been in Sacramento. What's
Salt
going
Lake
on, Adam?
City. They
What's
did it
happening?
in Cleveland, Indianapolis, Salt Lake City, no Sacramento. On top of that, the Golden One Center is the best arena in basketball.
Toronto, Toronto, DC, Philly, line them all up. San Antonio. The All-Star game has been everywhere except Sacramento. What's happening, Adam? Why has the All-Star game never been in Sacramento? What's going on?
Yeah.
It's the capital of California, by the way.
And everybody's saying that Sac is this Sac. You've never been to Sacramento, y'all. Don't
Never.
act like you ever been. Shut up. But anyways, y'all, we have reached that time. Y'all see Claire in the chat. She's texting me already, blowing me up, talking about get out of there. She does this every weekend. Like, Claire, I can't go over 5 minutes. Golly. I'm kicking it with my guys. But all right. That's it, man. Thanks everybody for pulling up. Make sure you go to playerschoicemerch.com. It's cold out there, y'all. Get you a hoodie. Chill.
Hey, man, y'all know where to find us at. Me and Big Ox, we do this every Saturday. If we're not here, we're on the panel weekdays 11 to 2. We will see you soon. Until then, put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Hey, man, call your mother. Well, last time you talked to your mother, my mother's birthday was a couple of days ago. I just talked to my mother. Call your mother. And if you ever in the Portland area, and you had too much to drink, my man right here, ring the phone. He'll come scoop you. He will. He'll come get you. So we will see you guys soon. But until then, take it light. We take it. Absolutely, man. It's good to see you guys.
All right, y'all. We'll catch y'all next time, and we'll see y'all on Monday.
Absolutely. Later. Good stuff.
Sacramento definitely.